Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back with another video. Hope you're well wherever you are. And I've got so many ideas today that I want to work on, but unfortunately I don't have as much energy as I like. And since I wake up so late, half my day is already gone. But anyway, I tried to make this video on Facebook, but Facebook let me down for some reason. I don't know if it's a glitch on Facebook or whatever. I'm seeming to have a problem on Facebook, so I thought I'd make it on YouTube instead. So I suppose having two platforms has its advantages. Anyway, this is, as it's the 9th today, and 9 reminds me of paperwork for some reason. It reminds me of a backwards P, which reminds me of paperwork. Obviously, paperwork starting with P. So I thought I'd talk about my dreams for my writing on paper and stuff like that, and my working habits. And admittedly, I have a really bad mental health problem with wanting to have paperwork like literally everywhere. Part of me knows how nuts that is, because like people wouldn't be able to walk or whatever. So I don't want to be too selfish about it. And the idea is it's supposed to make the world a better place. So it's kind of counterproductive to get in other people's way. So I hope to have such wherever I have permission, but I do try and push that to the back of my mind. So part of me knows that how nuts that is, but like part of me can't help to think about that sort of stuff. But anyway, well, there's something else I was going to say in the intro, but I can't quite remember it. But I suppose this is kind of like take two. But anyway, yeah, as I say, my quirky way of saying things, I know I'm a bit of an eccentric, quirky guy, but I'm not that patriotic. But since I'm a British citizen, you could call me a British eccentric, I suppose. But I suppose I'm just me, a complete nutter, but in a harmless way, of course. But yeah, so that's my thought. But yeah, I want to make it as fair as possible, as I put it, as fair as a square or as fair as a pair, as equal as a sequel that's equally as good as the last. So I want to make this deal fair to everyone, so all possible individuals, people and all individual people. I suppose like I can't think of many individuals who would want to take part in this, but maybe like people who have information, that anyone who has information they want to share. I suppose if you think about a business or any organization, it's just a collection of people. Anyway, I'll try not to make the intro too long, but yeah, it could be poets, artists, writers, business owners, politicians, or religious people, or spiritual people, or whatever, who want to share information. That's how the idea started, I suppose. I thought, like, well, they could call me a lukewarm Christian. I sort of said that whatever, as a reward to say thank you to God for anything I get to write, I would share something from the Bible. Now I want to make it as equal as possible, so I want to make it fair for everyone, for every religion or whatever. But anyway, I'm going to try and crack on with the list, because I know the intro went on too long. I decided to do this in list form. I wasn't initially going to do it in list form, but I decided to do so in list form because I thought it would be easier to do it that way. Anyway, here goes. I don't speak too soon, but I think my voice is getting a lot better than it was before, because I had a bit of a cold. So I think the tea sort of helped, hopefully. I don't want to speak too soon. My voice went a bit croaky. But anyway, I'm going to crack on with the list. So finally, here goes. So number one, for each notebook, for each receipt, envelope, notebook, refill pad, piece of paper, or whatever, line paper that I get to write on in my own unique style. I don't mean the punctuation, but I mean like say if I write on refill pads, I like to use the whole space. I don't really write in paragraphs when I write on refill pads, for instance, or receipts or envelopes. I sort of write my ideas or shopping list for life or things like that, or I like to keep receipts. So yeah, for whatever reason. But yeah, whatever papers I can write on. Plain paper, I used to write on plain paper, but now I like to give that to artists from what I call the six, which I mentioned before. Also, for each line I get to write, I hope to share information. So it could be like a politician or a political party, respectively, wants to share a poster for their political campaign or whatever, or again, a poet, artist, writer, or whatever, who wants to share their works, or any company or organization or member of a company. I can't think of like mechanics or engineers wanting to share information, but maybe on behalf of their company or organization, any business or whoever wants to share a business card or a website or whatever wants me to share that info on my Facebook or YouTube. If it's a spiritual or religious group, they want me, like if it was a mosque and they wanted me to share, like a Muslim organization or a mosque wanted me to share Qurans or anything from the Quran or whatever, literature or whatever you want to call it, Islamic literature or text or whatever, then for each line they help me to write. Obviously I'd have to have a record of it. I'd have to be able to either have a picture of it or a recording somehow, or I'd be able to make the use of the ideas that I write somehow. Better still, or I'd be able to keep it somewhere or store it somewhere. Obviously there's have to be some storage space. So either of those sorts of things. Obviously I'd have to know how much I get to write. Someone would have to count it. I don't know who's going to count it, and I'd have to trust them perhaps, but some sort of deal. So I hope to sit down with businesses, organizations, charitable groups or whatnot, to talk about, or spiritual or religious groups especially, talk about what sort of things, businesses especially as well, talk about what sort of things they would want me to share and what sort of is a fair sort of deal. So I hope to sort of negotiate that sort of thing in the fairest possible way. Number two, whatever if they help me to promote my writings and my plans and whatever, I hope to do the same for them. Number three, again, if they give me like free spaces or places to write, or as I say, for each line I get to write, I hope to share a line, say for instance from the Bible or whatever, or a business, if they wanted me to share like a jingo or something about their business, some information basically about their business, a line from their business, I hope to return the favour. Especially if they give me like free spaces or places for writing and that kind of thing, places and spaces for my paperwork and stuff like that. Number four, yeah, again, like giving storage spaces and things like that. Number five, if they help me with my goals about what my writing is on. A lot of time, I've got to admit that it is like sort of patterns that I have and wanting to write certain things in a certain way and that kind of thing. That's whereas perhaps I should be thinking about what the writing is for, what it's supposed to do to make the world a better place or whatnot, or to help these sort of causes I have, with those five sort of causes I have, and that kind of thing. Number six, if they help me to write blue notebooks or in blue ink, on blue notebooks with a blue cover, basically, in blue ink to represent Italian football, which plays in blue. Again, if whoever helps me to write, for each notebook they help me to write, to share with Italian football, or each plan they help me to write, each diagram or whatever, or these will be top secret ideas, but whoever helps me to do those sort of things. So if, say for instance, a mosque or a church helped me respectively to write such and to share it with Italian football teams or whatnot. Some could be like for individual clubs like Juventus in black and white, or AC Milan in black and red, Inter Milan in black and blue, or that kind of thing. So whoever helped me with those sorts of things, and to share it with those clubs or Italian football generally, the F.A.I, GC, Italian F.A.I, and all that kind of thing, I would love to put that notebook or piece of work or whatever inside a Bible or Quran or whatever respectively, and if they could help me to ship it off or send it off to Italy in this case, or to work with Italians around the world or Italian football fans around the world, obviously as long as I could trust them, some of the top secret strategies and ideas, which I try and keep as secretive as possible, except for Italian football itself. Number seven, the same for Celtic, but in Celtic's case it would be white or green. They're playing green and white, or preferably green and white. So yeah, for each note they help me to write. I suppose like receipts, envelopes, and refill pads, where I write like one sheet would probably take up a lot less time. So I suppose, if giving a secret way here, but if people if the businesses or political parties or religious organisations were wiser, they could say, if I give this mad guy here a receipt or an envelope, it would take him a lot less time to actually write that sort of stuff, as well as space, I suppose. And so if they wanted me to share information more quickly, that would probably be a wiser way of doing it. But again, I would share for each individual who wanted to share information, or each business, political party, spiritual, religious organisation, I'd do it as fair as I could. Number eight, whoever helps me do this stuff, I suppose I would love them more. I'd pay them in love if that worked. Like, I suppose the Bible is very confusing for me. Like, that's why people say like read the Bible, but I find it really confusing. I think, what's the point when I don't understand it anyway? And probably a bit too scary to read. But also, I think that it's more scary than relaxing probably a lot of time. But I think that yeah, I want to understand it anyway. But yeah, like they say, God wants people to love him. So I think, why doesn't he bless my work? Then I'll love him more. But yeah, so I suppose I would reward them with love if that's worth anything. If my love is worth anything. Number nine, again, over time, I hope to discuss with all possible people who might be interested in sharing any information that they want to share, whether that's poet, artist, writer, politician, individuals like that, or an individual business owner, small business owner, or sole trader, or whatever, or it's bigger organizations. I hope to discuss what the fairest deal is. I suppose it's hard to make it completely fair, because bigger organizations which have more resources, who want to take part in this, if they did want to take part, if they're not too big to take part, I suppose, or they felt, yeah, maybe it's worth a risk, maybe we have that opportunity to take that risk, they're going to have more space where they can give me to write or create YouTube videos in peace and quiet, where I don't get disturbed. Give me my own room, which they're perhaps not using at the time, where it's not being used by anyone. They would have more opportunity to do that, like bigger landowners, or people who have more space, more land, more whatever, obviously including rooms or whatever where they could, including places and spaces where I could go to do that sort of stuff, place and space for writing. And number 10, yeah, I just hope it. I'll tell. Part of me thinks maybe I'm wasting my time, but I hope that somehow sharing these ideas and working on these ideas, I'll come up with something that I'd like to think this is a good idea, but maybe I'm being naive. But yeah, I've run out of things to say. So again, I'd love to read your comments. Like, if you have information that you want to share, would you be interested in something like this? What do you think? I'm talking nonsense. Probably am. But yeah, if you let me know. And yeah, I'd love to read your comments. And if you want to make response videos and all that, hopefully it won't be too harsh. But yeah, I think that covers everything for now. And I wish you a good evening or day or whatever, wherever you are in the world. I am out. Peace and love.